Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to be bringing you a combination video. It is a review on the new Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette. This is the Divine Rose Luxe Eyeshadow Quad. And I'm also going to be including a mini tutorial on this look, which is real similar to what I was wearing in my move update video. And so many of you requested a tutorial on that look. So I'm combining everything into one video for you today. If you're new here, special welcome. I hope you'll hit that subscribe button. And now let's get started. I saw this palette on Sephora's website a little over a month ago. And when I saw this picture, it just sucked me right in. You know I love pink, you know I love flowers, and I have been hearing amazing things about Pat McGrath eyeshadows, but I had not yet tried the formula. They're super expensive. This quad retails for $58. So that is also another reason why I had not yet tried her eyeshadows. Now, when I saw the eyeshadow colors included in this quad, I also thought, oh my goodness, those are my kinds of shades. And so I ordered it, finally broke down one day after a stressful day of moving. I thought, I'm gonna treat myself to a wonderful, fun eyeshadow palette. And it came, and I have to say, when I opened the box from Sephora, I thought, oh, this is beautiful. I opened this box, and this is what was inside. And I have to say that was my first disappointment, because I really felt like for that price, I wanted the palette to look like this packaging. So it's nice, it does get very fingerprinty, but it is just kind of a slightly upgraded black plastic with her gold logos across the front. So it's not bad, it's not the cheapest packaging, but again, I was kind of hoping for something a little more. Now, when I opened it up, I was pleased to see the colors in this palette. They are beautiful. There's two mattes, one pretty shimmery shade, and then this one has a little bit slightly smoother formula. I love on the back it says, use without caution. Shade throwing and eye ecstasy may result with prolonged use. So I thought, okay, it's nice to not have a warning on the back of our packaging saying, if this causes eye irritation, cease using, you know? So I was happy to see that. But then I got into swatching these shades, and here is what those swatches look like. So I kind of have them upside down for you, but hopefully you can figure it out. So this is the shade Earthly Delight. This is Pink Mystique. This is Temptation, and this one is Forbidden Fruit. Now, all of these are super smooth formula. The mattes, as you will see in a moment in the demo, they do blend really seamlessly. They build nicely without too much effort. And the shimmery shades, while they look, this one especially, while it looks pretty intense, it doesn't seem to really, it kind of seems to have a level where it stops building. So some eyeshadows, like a few I'm going to show you in a moment, you can kind of continue to build that metallic quality. But I found even with a wet brush that I didn't really find that it built too much more than what you're seeing here on the hand. And then this one is slightly smoother. There's really no kind of chunky particles of glitter or anything in this one at all, just a smooth pinky gold color. So I love all these shades. I do like how they perform, but at that price tag and with just 4 shadows, I really kind of felt like I wanted a little more distinction between the looks that I could create with this palette. I have enjoyed all the looks I've done, but they do kind of end up looking pretty similar. Also, if you know me, what's missing is a brow bone highlight shade. So you're gonna have to pull in another palette to complete a look with this. And then also, I love just a slightly brighter inner corner highlight than what I can get from this shade. So overall, it is really nice formula. The packaging is okay. I'd give it around a C. Now I wanted to do a little math for you. You know, I like to kind of share kind of price per ounce or price per gram when we're looking especially at these really expensive eyeshadow palettes, because sometimes we knock a palette because we think it's less product than it really is. Well, this one Each one of these shades is 0.06 ounces or 0.24 ounces total, or in grams, it's 1.72 grams each. So there is quite a lot of product in here. And I wanted to do a comparison for you between a couple of other palettes. And some of these are brands that get a little flack for being expensive. So the first one is Viseart. And this little quad is the Petit-Four. And each one of these looks pretty small, right, in comparison to the Pat McGrath. But this whole palette is 0.21 ounces. And it retails, I believe it's around $25. I'll put on the screen if it's different. So less than half the price and almost just as much product. Now, another one is the Natasha Denona Mini Love palette. Don't worry, I have a whole review on this palette coming up. You can see there are very similar colors in this palette. Now, this one, you're getting about half the amount of product per shadow. However, you are getting 5 shades, and this retails for $25. So you're getting about half of the amount of shadow as you get in here for less than half the price, but you get a little more variety, and I do feel like the formulation on this and the Viseart are very comparable to Pat McGrath, in my opinion. Now, as we approach the tutorial portion of this video, I want to give you a couple of dupe or really close dupes that I found in my collection of individual shadows. A couple of these are almost dead on, a couple are just similar, but I just wanted to show you these because sometimes when you look at a quad like this, you say, well, it's worth the money because those shades are so unique. I can't find them anywhere else. And I want to show you that they are unique to a certain extent, but there are some similar shades out there. And I bet if you went through your collection of eyeshadow palettes, you could probably find some similar ones as well. And as I showed you this, there are some similar shades in here. And so I think you can get very similar looks. So let me show you quickly from ColourPop. This is the shade Fair Play, and this is obviously a little bit brighter than the Pat McGrath pink color, but very similar. You could just apply this more sheerly. This one right here is almost a dead-on dupe and actually a little more pigment to it than, or color, I would say, than the Pat McGrath. And this is Come and Get It from ColourPop also. This shade right here is Haux, H-A-U-X from MAC. And it's not quite as much brown as the one from Pat McGrath, but again, very similar. And then this one is from Sydney Grace, and I wanted to show this, and I'll show you how you can get closer to this color, but this is one of their pressed pigments. This is Go For It. And the texture on those shadows is, I would say, identical to the Pat McGrath formula on this particular one. And I would say this is even more metallic. This one you can layer and it will build and get more and more intense. So this shade Go For It is a little more cool tone purple, but if you add in a little bit of another one of my favorites, it's Golden Rose, which is kind of a pinky color, you can get a very similar shade as the Pat McGrath one. You can just kind of layer back and forth, and you can see it's just changing that tone just slightly and making it closer to the Pat McGrath shade there. So this is a pretty unique shade, but again, on the eyes, I think you can get a similar look with one of these shades or probably something else you have in your collection. So now let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial, and then I'll finish out this video with a few final thoughts. All right, the first step, as always, is to apply an eyeshadow primer. Today I used the Stila Perfect and Project eyeshadow primer. And now for Brow Bone Highlight shade, I decided to pull out an oldie but a goodie. This is the palette that usually sat right behind me in my previous house, and I have just been enjoying getting this out and putting this to use. So I'm just using a matte cream shade from here. You can use any one in your collection. This is the Sigma E50, and just going to place this under the brow down to the top of the crease. All right, let's go to our palette now. I am going to start in the crease with this shade right here. It's called Earthly Delight, using a Morphe M504. And I will just start in the outer corner and really blend this through the crease and up into that brow bone highlight shade. And just build this up slightly. Next, I will go to a BK Beauty 206 brush, and staying with that same shade, I am now going to just add a little more depth here in the outer corner. And these shadows really do blend nicely, and they are buildable. So just blending more in the outer corner and then taking it about halfway through the crease there. All right, let's go to the lid shades next. And so I am using now Forbidden Fruit. Such a pretty color. And this texture is really buttery smooth. You can see how metallic it is on my finger, but it really doesn't, I don't feel like it really emphasizes texture too much on the lid, as you will see. Now I'm going to keep this in about kind of the middle third to 2/3 of the lid here, not taking it all the way to the inner corner. And with this shade, I've tried it with a wet brush, and I really don't feel like it changed how metallic it looked on the eyes much at all. So I feel like the most intense color payout you're gonna get is by using your finger, right? Wipe your finger off really well. And then we're gonna go in with this shade right here, which is Pink Mystique. And this is the one that has kind of a pink with a little gold. It's a very, much more of a kind of pearl finish. So not as metallic as that previous shade. And I'm putting this on the inner third, and then I am overlapping that lid shade. Then I'll go back with the 206 and a little more of that Earthly Delight shade, and just kind of brush this over that shimmery shade there in the outer corner, just to make sure it's all nicely blended there. All right, and then the last step with this palette, I'm going to go back to the M504, clean it off, and just go in with just a tiny little tap in that pink and go right along the edge. And you can see how low down my fingers are on the brush. I'm just very lightly touching my skin there just to add a tiny little hint of pink. Let's go to the lower lash line now. I'm going to use the Urban Decay Mushroom eye pencil, and I am putting this in kind of the roots of my lower lashes here, going about 3/4 of the way across. And then I'll take a little bit under the lashes as well. Then I'll take a Morphe M432 and go back to our palette with a little bit of Earthly Delight, and just kind of tap that over that pencil right up close to the lash line. And it keeps the gray tone, but just adds a little hint of purple down here. And then on the upper lash line, I'm not sure in that video if I used liquid liner or pencil liner, but today I've decided I'm going to use pencil liner because I think it's a little softer. This is the Pixie Endless Silky Eye Pen in the shade Black Caviar. And I did just sharpen it, so I have kind of a nice point to work with. But I'm starting at about the halfway point, and then just going to create a bit of a wedge shape here. I am making sure to go back to the roots of the lashes to really get that pencil in there. And then as I get to the outer corner, I'm just going to go up towards the brow slightly, and then go back towards the center of the lid. And fill that in. All right, so you can see I have moved along. I fixed my hair and added mascara. I will leave my mascara combination in the description box below. Now for cheeks and lips to finish out today, the cheek combination that I used was a combination of products that aren't available. I used the Sweetie Pie bronzer, and then I used the highlighter and a little bit of the blush from this palette. I want to try and limit how many limited edition products I used today. So I am going to use something that is new on the market, and it is the Jaclyn. This is the blush bronzer duo that she came out with, formerly Jaclyn Hill. I don't know what her last name is anymore, but this is the Sun-Kissed and Bronze Moment combination. So I'm going to add a little bit of the Bronze Moment. I'm using the Sedona Lace 919 brush. And I did add a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star bronzer as my contour today. I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on the tops of the cheeks and then go in with the blush there. And I'll use my Morphe E4 brush, trying to figure out where everything is on my desk here. And I've only used this a few times, but it is a really nice texture. Really pretty. The blush has a soft little bit of glow, and the combination of these really reminds me of the Sweetie Pie bronzer from Too Faced. So just going to put this on the cheeks here, add a little color. For highlighter and inner corner highlight, I'm also going to use another Jaclyn product, and this is her highlighter in Iced. So pretty. It is really, again, very soft texture. Jaclyn was known for her bronzy and highlighted looks, so I'm not surprised that she really hit it out of the park with this highlighter especially. There are several shades available, and this one has a little more of some brightness, kind of a little bit of white. So Iced, I think, is a great name for it. It does have a little bit of very soft shimmer, but you can see, I mean, you really don't need much product, and wow, a lot of glow. So I will be reviewing these fully soon, but I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek of something new. And then I'm going to use that on my inner corner since we don't have anything brighter in that palette. Again, in that moving update video, I used the brighter shades from the Tarte Aspyn Ovard palette. So if you have that one, go ahead and dig back into that palette. That is just such a great palette. Again, something else I wish Tarte would bring back. Just the packaging alone, so beautiful. Just going around the edge of my lips with the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. And some of you might not know why I do this. Not only does it help kind of even out the edge of my lip line so I can go in with lip liner and kind of fill in the line where I want it to be, but it also helps prevent your lipstick or lip gloss from bleeding past your lip lines. All right, and the lip combination that I was using in that video, I will show you today. I'm not sure this is still available. If not, hopefully you can find something close. But the lip liner is ColourPop Lippy Pencil in Oh Snap. And the lip gloss I used is the Smashbox Petal Metal Gloss. It is a thicker texture and very pigmented. So this is one of my favorites. Again, something that hopefully you can find something similar if it's no longer available. All right, here's our finished look. And as you saw me apply these eyeshadows, I think you'll agree they did go on well. They blended really easily. The shimmers on the lid, they're not emphasizing texture, so really good formula, beautiful colors, but you're really not going to get too many different looks from this palette. You can vary it slightly, but the tones in the palette are pretty similar. I wanted to also show you kind of what the palette looks like after just today's use. I do have quite a lot of kind of powdery kick up right here remaining. So they are pretty soft in texture, but they do perform well. They stay well on the eyes with an eyeshadow primer. But all of that being said, I just don't feel like this palette is unique enough or that the formula is that far above others that I've tried that I could really say that I would actually purchase this again, especially at full price. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have been curious about Pat McGrath eyeshadows, or you were curious to know how I achieved my eye look in my move update video, hopefully you found this video helpful. Thank you as always so much for watching. Don't forget to check the description box below for a list of all the products I used today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.